There comes a moment in every life when the illusion of comfort, the pretense of satisfaction, and the lies whispered by the world must be confronted. There comes a moment when a woman must stand face to face with herself, stripped of all excuses, stripped of all rationalizations, and look squarely at the condition of her soul. The clock is ticking. Time waits for no one. 2026 is not a distant horizon. It is rapidly approaching, and every day squandered is a day lost forever. The question is not whether the world will demand more from you, but whether you are prepared to offer more of yourself, more of your character, more of your integrity, and more of your discipline. The first thing you must improve is your understanding of truth. Not the convenient truths the world hands you, not the flattering lies that soothe your ego, but the uncompromising, often uncomfortable reality of who you are and what you are called to be. You must confront the depth of your own heart, the motives that guide your actions, and the thoughts that dominate your mind. The world will teach you to believe that self-deception is mercy, that avoiding reality is kindness, that softening the sharp edges of your life is prudence. But in reality, every compromise with the truth is a compromise with God, with your purpose, with the very essence of who you are meant to become. You must be relentless in seeking truth, relentless in exposing yourself to it, and relentless in allowing it to cut away the rot, the pride, and the fear that bind you. Second, you must improve your devotion to discipline. The life you live will be the sum of your daily choices. If your days are consumed with trivial pursuits, with indulgence, with laziness, then you will find yourself standing before 2026 empty, handed, without fruit, without influence, without dignity. Discipline is not a suggestion. It is not an optional attribute for the spiritually mature or the socially ambitious. Discipline is the forge through which your character is shaped, the lens through which your vision is focused, the mechanism through which your potential is realized. Rise early, pray consistently, study with intensity, serve without expectation. Refuse to allow laziness or distraction to claim even a single day. Third, you must improve your purity of heart. The world will laugh at this. The world will say it is naive, it is outdated, it is irrelevant. But the truth is that the health of your heart, the sanctity of your thoughts, the allegiance of your affections is the foundation of every meaningful relationship, every lasting influence, and every act of service. Guard your mind, guard your emotions, guard your body. Every compromise, every indulgence, every flirtation with temptation is a stone added to a pile that will ultimately crush you under the weight of regret, shame, and spiritual decay. Purity is not simply avoiding wrongdoing. It is the active pursuit of holiness, the relentless alignment of your desires with truth, and the refusal to let the world define what is permissible in your life. Fourth, you must improve your humility. The world screams for women to ascend, to dominate, to claim recognition, to demand applause. But true strength, true influence, true beauty lies not in self-promotion, but in submission to the higher call, in service that expects no acknowledgement, in love that sacrifices without calculation. Humility is the soil in which every other virtue grows. Without humility, your knowledge becomes arrogance, your service becomes self-interest, your faith becomes pride. Humility does not demand weakness. It demands courage, the courage to see yourself as you truly are, the courage to forsake your own comfort, and the courage to endure correction without resentment. Fifth, you must improve your ability to discern. The world will overwhelm you with voices, with opinions, with philosophies, with endless entertainment and distraction. If you cannot discern truth from lies, reality from illusion, godliness from deception, You will be carried along by every wind of doctrine and every wave of temptation. Discernment is not simply knowledge. It is the ability to see with eyes that pierce beneath surface appearances, that distinguish between that which builds and that which destroys, that separates what is fleeting from what is eternal. Pray for discernment, study with humility, seek wise counsel. Do not be satisfied with what is popular, convenient, or easy. Pursue what is true, and reject all else without compromise. Sixth, you must improve your courage to confront sin. The world will tempt you to ignore it, to rationalize it, to tolerate it in yourself and in others, but nothing will destroy your life faster than hidden sin, secret compromise, and the refusal to face your own moral failing. Courage is required to admit failure, to confess weakness, to take responsibility for your actions, and to endure the consequences of your choices. The easy path leads only to ruin. The hard path, the path of repentance, the path of facing your sin with honesty, may be painful, but it leads to restoration, strength, and freedom. Seventh, you must improve your stewardship of your time, talents, and treasures. Everything you have has been entrusted to you for a purpose far greater than indulgence or self-gratification. Every moment wasted is irretrievable. Every skill ignored is a wasted opportunity. Every resource hoarded or misused is a violation of trust. You must learn to manage your life as a sacred responsibility, to invest wisely, to give generously, to act intentionally, and to refuse the distractions that steal the present and erode the future. Eighth, you must improve your capacity for love that mirrors the divine. This is not the sentimental affection the world celebrates, but a love that is patient when patience is painful, a love that is kind when kindness is inconvenient, a love that sacrifices without seeking recognition, a love that confronts truth without yielding to anger. This love is costly, demanding, and often rejected by those who do not understand it, but it is the highest calling of your life. To love in this manner is to reflect something eternal in the midst of a temporary world. Ninth, you must improve your resilience in the face of suffering. Life will not spare you. Circumstances will wound, betrayals will cut deep, losses will shatter, and disappointment will visit without warning. Many will crumble, many will abandon faith, many will retreat into bitterness or despair. But you must cultivate the inner strength to endure, to rise, to persevere, and to cling to hope when all appearances are against you. Resilience is forged in the furnace of hardship, tempered in the waters of trial, and sustained by a vision of something greater than immediate comfort. Tenth, you must improve your commitment to purpose. Life is fleeting, time is brief, every choice, every day, every interaction matters in ways that may not be visible now, but will echo eternally. Purpose is not found in comfort, not in popularity, not in wealth, not in pleasure. Purpose is found in fidelity, in truth, in courage, in love, in holiness. To live without purpose is to squander the gift of life, to walk through existence blind to what could have been, to leave the world emptier than you found it. You must awaken, rise, and refuse to settle for mediocrity or distraction. There is a profound danger in a life that passes without scrutiny. Every human being is capable of deceiving themselves, and every woman, regardless of her education, social position, or reputation, carries within her a heart that is capable of hiding motives from itself. The question is not whether you have faults, for all of us do, but whether you are willing to confront them with brutal honesty. The world will offer comfort, reassurance, and 1,000 rationalizations that make sin tolerable, that make laziness seem acceptable, that make indifference appear virtuous. It will tell you that your fears are justified, that your compromises are harmless, that the small, repeated deviations from truth are inconsequential. But the truth is this: without radical self-examination, the soul decays in ways that are invisible to the eye, but fatal in their consequences. To begin, you must understand the depth of your own heart, your thoughts, your desires, your secret motivations. These are the terrain where true transformation must occur. You cannot merely adjust outward behavior. You must confront inward impulses. Pride, envy, resentment, selfishness, laziness, impatience, lust. These are not trifles. They are not minor flaws to be ignored until they grow into catastrophe. They are the silent architects of ruin. Every woman must ask herself with unwavering honesty, why do I act as I do? What do I truly love more than I love truth? What do I fear more than I fear God's judgment? To answer these questions honestly requires courage, because it is never comfortable to gaze into the mirror of your own soul and see your own rebellion, your own weakness, your own deceit. Self-examination demands a ruthless refusal to excuse or justify sin. Many women live in a world that teaches compromise as wisdom. The culture applauds diplomacy when it is really duplicity. It calls indulgence freedom, vanity sophistication, anger self-assertion, and fear prudence. But when you bow to these subtle lies, when you allow yourself to rationalize what is plainly wrong, you are cultivating a heart that is slowly becoming hardened, calloused, and impervious to correction. Radical self-examination does not flinch in the face of these lies. It does not soften reality to make life easier. It cuts through every rationalization, every excuse, every comforting lie, and reveals the soul as it truly is: weak, errant, dependent, sinful, and desperately in need of transformation. You must scrutinize every thought that dominates your mind. Every woman must ask herself, what occupies my imagination when I am alone? What do I replay in the quiet moments of my life? Do I dwell on pride, ambition, resentment, fantasies of self-importance, or indulgence? Or do I seek thoughts that align with truth, with holiness, with the betterment of others, with courage, and with patience? The mind is a garden, and the thoughts you cultivate will bear fruit in your actions. Neglect to examine and cleanse this garden, and it will be overrun with weeds that choke life, beauty, and joy from the soul. Radical self-examination begins with thought, because every sin begins there. Before actions manifest, desires are harbored. Before words are spoken, attitudes are formed. Before failures occur, the seeds were planted in the heart. Next, you must confront your motives. How many actions are performed for applause, recognition, or self-satisfaction rather than for truth, righteousness, and the good of others? How often do you serve, not because it is right, but because it elevates your reputation? How often do you give, not because the other is in need, but because it provides personal comfort or avoids guilt? Transformation requires an unflinching honesty in which every intention is examined as if laid bare before the divine. There can be no pretense, no hiding behind good deeds, no cloaking of selfish ambition with outward appearances of virtue. Radical self-examination demands that you look at your heart in the harsh light of truth and confront the reality that much of what passes as service, kindness, or diligence is often rooted in pride, convenience, or fear. Time is another mirror in which truth is reflected. Every day is a test of character. How do you spend your hours? Do you waste time on trivialities while ignoring what is eternal? Do you fill your mind with entertainment and distraction while neglecting thought, reflection, and study? Do you invest energy in fleeting pleasures while ignoring the cultivation of your spirit and your intellect? Radical self-examination involves a ruthless accounting of time, recognizing where minutes, hours, and days have been squandered, and what changes must be made immediately to reclaim them for growth, purpose, and virtue. The clock does not stop, the calendar moves forward, and every day left unexamined is an opportunity lost forever. Relationships are also a reflection of your inner life. Every woman must examine the connections she keeps, the conversations she engages in, and the people she allows to shape her world. Do these relationships encourage you toward honesty, growth, and truth? Or do they feed your pride, indulge your weaknesses, and celebrate compromise? Radical self-examination requires that you scrutinize not only your own character, but also the influences you accept. You must recognize the subtle ways in which the world, and even those closest to you, can reinforce sin, distraction, and mediocrity. Transformation demands that you either correct these influences, confront them with wisdom, or remove them from your life entirely if they threaten the pursuit of truth. You must confront your fears. Many women avoid self-examination because they fear what they will find. They fear the discomfort, the shame, the guilt, the need for change, but fear is not a valid excuse. In fact, avoidance strengthens the very chains you are meant to break. Radical self-examination is courage in action. It faces the darkness within the soul, even when the eyes quiver and the spirit recoils. It recognizes that discomfort is the threshold of growth, and that the pain of recognition is far preferable to the decay of unacknowledged sin. To refuse this confrontation is to choose spiritual death over life, stagnation over progress, comfort over truth. The practice of self-examination must be consistent, disciplined, and structured. It is not a casual glance at one's life once in a while. It is a daily, relentless pursuit. Every evening, every moment of reflection, every prayerful pause is an opportunity to confront the soul's realities. Journals, meditation, prayer, and even accountability with those who will speak truth without flattery are necessary tools. Radical self-examination is not easy because it is not meant to be easy. It is a battle, a warfare against pride, laziness, distraction, and deceit. And it is only through persistent effort that the soil of the heart can be tilled and prepared for the seeds of transformation to take root. Transformation follows examination, but it is not automatic. To confront sin, weakness, and misalignment is not enough. Action must follow insight. You cannot claim to examine yourself and yet continue in patterns of distraction, compromise, or indulgence. Every insight gained from reflection must become a decision, a concrete step toward change. Replace idle thoughts with study, pride with humility, impatience with patience, selfish ambition with selfless service. Transformation is active, not passive. It is a continual reshaping of desires, motives, and habits according to an unflinching standard of truth. You must understand that radical self-examination and transformation are ultimately not about pleasing people, building a reputation, or achieving success in the world's eyes. They are about aligning your soul with what is eternal, with what is right, with what is true. The world may mock, the world may ignore, the world may even condemn your efforts as naive or excessive, but what matters is the condition of your heart, the integrity of your intentions, and the obedience to a higher call. Every moment spent in honest examination and courageous transformation is a moment invested in a life that truly matters. To neglect this is to live in spiritual darkness, to wander in mediocrity, and to accumulate the consequences of unexamined sin. Every compromise left unchallenged, every idle thought uncorrected, every weakness unaddressed, builds upon itself until the weight becomes unbearable, until the soul is encumbered with regrets that cannot be undone. Radical self-examination is the sharp instrument that cuts away these chains, that exposes hidden corners of the heart to light, that lays the groundwork for renewal. It is not a luxury, it is survival. It is not a recommendation, it is a mandate. There is no transformation without pain, no growth without struggle, no virtue without effort. To embark on this journey requires courage, persistence, and a willingness to face oneself in a mirror that never lies. Every woman must decide whether she will shrink from this truth or whether she will embrace it with all her heart, acknowledging every flaw, confronting every weakness, correcting every deviation, and pressing forward with relentless determination. The soul must be examined, the heart purified, the mind disciplined, the motives aligned, the life reordered. There is no substitute, no shortcut, no compromise. Radical self-examination is the foundation upon which all meaningful change is built.